Put some lips on for you though. I'm actually doing several things. The shit moved to my head area and also my uh, my my throat was sore. Wrinkles. Oh my god. But my throat was sore. My throat was sore. Well, first my lungs were heavy. No, first my throat was sore. Then my lungs were heavy, and they still are. But my lungs are just heavy, and there's no pain per se. But there's pain right there. It's like in a space between where my throat is and my lungs. And I also have this sinus thing running all upside the place. I miss my sister. Adele. But I've been talking to one of my other sisters more than I ever have, and it's been wonderful. Oh, this right here, you can see the granules at the bottom. You can't see the smoke coming up though. So, I'm trying to twist up my hair. This is my version of chicken noodle soup because Mr. bought some of those portable, sippable ones, but I feel like he should take them to work. So I was able to convince him by telling him, because we do have some canned chicken noodle soup, but I don't even feel like heating it up because I can put some broth granules in here. They poison like everything else. If you think your canned chicken noodle soup is fresh or organic as they tell you it is, then you a lie. Or they a lie and you believed it. That's okay, we all fall for something. But if you are unimaginably ill and you don't feel like cooking or making your own soup, and you didn't tell your squad that you were sick because you're an introvert and you don't want to bring nobody down, then you can get you some broth or bouillon and put some hot water with it. Hopefully you got a dispenser or some bottled water that you can zap really quick and make it hot so you don't have to stand over the stove. But even still, it won't take that long. But I figure if I'm going to stand over the stove and heat up some bottled water, I might as well make the damn soup out of the can, right? And the whole point was not to do shit. Usually if Mr. sick, I slip into automatic denial to help me refuse to catch whatever it is. Wait. It's in my hair. Look. So basically, my head is so heavy on its own that I didn't feel the weight of this. I mean, not that this is heavy, but I would have felt the weight of this. Ooh. Those of you who have sinus problems, like I generally don't, so I can't relate to a lot of stuff. But those of you who have sinus problems, when you get that thing, that little bubble that creeps up your shit all the way up into here. Ooh, that's the exact path too. And it goes up here, and then it comes back in here. Now this whole length that my nail is following, the whole length of area continues to pull. It's not pain, but it's painful. And then when it gets right here, for like the second lap, when it does a lap of all up and down here, when it's on the second lap and gets right here, the bubble pops and it immobilizes you. Like you just like, and it's just pulling, and the bubbles popping and this whole shit is pulling. Anyway, I decided I want to do my hair. And I figured I'd do it on camera. I just set the timer for 45 minutes. Because in that time I'd like to be mailing my nephew's birthday present. And then letters. Well, I'm only going to get to one letter today. What's going on? Where's my gel? Here's my black on. I was really glad when Carol's daughter started selling in the stores because I experienced buying products from my folks. And you know, you're kind of forced to like order it. And when you order, then they start stalking you via email, giving you all the sales stuff. And Now, to be fair, I'm aware that I have no right to be frustrated by this because I'm the only one who feels this way. Most people love it. It's the bandwagon mentality that rules society. But I'm that eyeball. I don't like sociopath behavior, so I don't fuck with sociopaths. Now, I'm not saying that they're sociopaths, but for the people that I purchase from, who then immediately start with the stalking and the newsletters and emails and all that shit like that, that's a good way for me to never purchase from you again, never support you, and never recommend you to anyone else. I've had several people, somebody I bought some shea butter from, somebody I bought some hair curlers from. Well, anyway, there have been people I supported that I got my merchandise and might have been happy with it. But that sociopath selling, they go into sociopath sell mode. I'm the wrong one. Bitch, I'm the wrong one. So in most cases, matter of fact, in all the cases except for one of my black-owned support, they went ahead and tried me. They tried me before I was able to make a video to promote their shit. So I never made that video to promote their shit. I want to say cause fuck you, but don't listen to that because I know you hustling, and that's part of today's common hustle. I'm just an uncommon bitch, and that sociopath stuff just don't work on me. But keep doing what you're doing, boo. It just don't work on me. It works on everybody else, and that's how you gonna build your business. So never mind nothing that I just set up to say, cause I'm wrong. I'm just expressing it from my perspective. I'm gonna stop doing that as much. I can't help it because it's me, so I express it, and I'm entitled to my expression of how I feel about it. Just like I'm entitled not to shop with you again ever in life, nor mention your name, good or bad, because in this area, bad press is still good press, right? Any attention is good attention. It's the American way. You know, when I say stuff like that, keep in mind my little disclaimer, but that's just me. I'm the only one that don't fall for that shit. Everybody else will go for it. Look at all that gray, y'all. I'll probably have this blurred, so you may or may not be able to see it. Don't come for me, bitch. I watched dudes go through you and watch you have babies from a tiny teen attention whore on YouTube. Just like you watch me get old on this bitch. At least you watch me grow. I just watched you age, because you didn't learn from none of your mistakes. Oh, speaking of, on YouTube. That was your mistake. That's okay. We do all make mistakes. Just we make different mistakes. That's all. And that's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But don't act like it ain't measurements on that shit. You know, everybody say all sins are equal. The hell they are. Some shit I just ain't going for. Even if I'm the outcast as a result of not going for it. Should I do this now? This my, y'all know this my hair infused. Drip, drip, drip. Came through dripping. Came through dripping. Drip, drip. I'm gonna need my scalp and hair to beat that up a little though. Please and thank you. It doesn't smell like flour, but it smells like, if you've ever cooked with infused oil, it smells like the oil. Because that's what it is, shit. See, that's how they get you. They stick them commercials in there, and when you can't get to it too fast to skip over them, they slip up all up in your psyche and shit. That's okay though. Little red color. Anyway, y'all, I went to get my nails did. And me and my manicurist, we've been having these chats. Now, some of you know. Well, a couple of you know. I'm just going to start saying a couple of you. So we've been having these pretty deep conversations about life and people and government and conditioning. Colonization, if you will. So, stick a little spoon, a little baby spoon. It's plastic though. It looks silver, plastic. It's one of those little party spoons. I don't know what it's actually for. Hors d'oeuvres, I don't know shit. So when I went in and sat down, the first thing he said was, "How you doing?" He didn't say it like that, but that's what he meant. "How you doing?" Because I immediately started barking into my elbow. Like so. He had his mask on. He was like, "How you doing?" Like I just came to germify him, which I pretty much did, I guess. Because I get it. I'm one of those people. I don't want your germy ass around me. At the same time, see, everybody act like there's no some end game. Everybody act like everything's absolute, like two things, like there are no variables. But I don't want your germy ass near me because common sense, I don't want to catch it. At the same time, grown ass people got shit to do in a day. And sometimes you don't have time or room or opportunity to stop for your illness. You heard? I found a container for my damn clips and can never find them. How about that? So I put the small ones up. See how I leave an inch on the end so that end can get it in on the curly tip. I don't like the way you know what, I'm not going. So nappy. Look at all the gray, y'all. So much. Put it through with my fingers. You know what I need to take? And I'm not meditated right now. I wonder if I should be. So he said, I don't know exactly what he said because between the mask and his accent, sometimes I can't always make it out. And I give myself a maximum of 3 times to ask him to repeat something. Otherwise, I figure that's pretty annoying because I don't like to repeat myself in general. So, but I would like to think that he knows that the combination of the mask and the accent further complicates things. Anyway, I'm cold again. Don't worry, it won't last long. I should probably have just put this oil. I think I just put a few drops. Literally, huh? On the end to see if it takes. Hitting it with a twist. Now I want a big fat twist just so it will take less time or whatever. But because dry time is a factor in how big you make them twists. You want to be aware of that. Like that's real. Because I want to just do like 4 big ass twists on 4 parts of my head. But what'll happen is the last thing that happened. And I'll take it down and it won't be dry. So that's why the last Grown Talk sesh was in Afro mode. Which is not a terrible thing. Oh yeah, so he said, so he asked me if I was feeling. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I was like, it's kind of going through the house. I was like, my husband had it, so I nursed him through it. Which he still does. I nursed him through it. And so now it's my turn, and, you know, no big deal. Our bodies are fighting it off, so whatever. But it's a wrestling match, though. Believe that. But our bodies are fighting it off. That took us to talking about flu shots. I could tell he want to be woke so bad, but his cognitive dissonance, boy, that shit is a hell of a drug. So, and I'm not mad because, well, we talked about that too. He said, so you don't get the flu shot, do you? And I was like, no, we don't get the flu shot. I was like, but everybody in my family does, and you know, everybody I know does. I don't think we know anybody else who is like it. I don't think anybody knows that we don't get the flu shot. But I don't think that we know anybody who consciously does not get the flu shot. You know what I mean? And it's so weird because the system has everybody convinced to get it still, even though they know for a fact that people have gotten sick from it. And so I was like, no, we don't get the. And so then he started talking about people that get sick from the flu shot. And I told him, I was like, yeah, everybody we know gets a flu shot, you know. Which I understand the government encourages, especially old people and young people, to get the flu shot. So I get that, and I'm not here to contrast that for anybody who believes what they tell them, no matter what they see with their own eyes, because who knows? In some cases, if you believe what they tell you, maybe it'll work like a placebo for you and it'll actually work. Who knows? And, who am I to? That's the difference between me and colonizers. Well, conscious people and colonizers. Although we seem not to put up with no BS, because we don't. We are ironically the ones who are most tolerant of other people's wishes and beliefs. You would think that somebody who pretends to care about you would care about how you choose to believe and respect it. But the way they built humans in this era, they can convince you. And so he started mentioning people. He's like, you think that it makes you sick? And I said, yeah. I was like, come on. He's like, yeah, he was saying how they force some people to get it. And I can't remember the scenario he used, but it made me chime in. Everybody got to put their own 2 cents in. I was like, yeah, there are some medical professionals. I want to say I've seen, but everyone knows. Like, there are some nurses that have been fired. A lady lost her whole career that she went to school for behind refusing the flu shot because she saw what it did to people. So she was like, no, I'm not taking the flu shot. So rather than accept the devil's number on her forehead, and I use it as a pun because these women were white. So if they treated Becky like that, you already know there's no hope for us in that field if you refuse to take if you refuse to drink the Kool-Aid. So yeah, Becky has lost her job on more than one occasion for refusing to drink the Kool-Aid. She's like, nah, I'm good. I know they tried to threaten her with her career, but you've been a nurse for 23 years. She was like, yeah, I want to live long enough to be something else. Well, she didn't say that, but that's what I interpreted. I want to live long enough to be something else. If you do take my chosen career path from me, because I won't let you poison me. Anyway, shout out to you, Becky, for saving your own life. Yeah, and I told him, I said, I know, I was like, everyone that I know in my family has gotten, that got the flu shot, got deathly ill, like immobilized. Everyone, my mother included, one of my sisters and her kids. But I come from a big Christian family, so they're going to believe whatever the preacher and the government say. Yeah, child. Supremacy did the thing when they got into the heads of its citizens. It did quite the number on mankind. It was really brilliant. Yeah, the last 2 years we were really nervous after my mom got her flu shot. And I don't tell them not to. I don't discourage. I never discourage anybody that I see. It's kind of like with other stuff. Again, a conscious person respects other people's beliefs. So when I see somebody believe something, I'm like, oh, okay. And I keep pressing. Unless, I really, really super love them as a friend. Then if I super love them and they're my friend, they already know how I feel about it. And, they also know that it's okay if they choose to do that. It's just important that I've informed them with as much as I feel like I know to, I just want it to be their choice if they choose to still believe that bullshit. That's all. I don't want them to kill you without your permission, is all I'm saying. See how I left the end out so that end could curl up. Yeah, and I know everybody. I was like, it's so brilliant. It's so brilliant how they convinced everybody. Look, the things they say are things like, they encourage old people and young people to get it. The most susceptible people. And what's crazy is that everybody knows that they don't know what kind of strain is going to come for people on any given season. So when they make the flu shot, they guess at whatever potential strain it might show up. 99.9% going to be wrong all the time because they've already admitted that they don't know what kind of strain going to show up because each strain is different. So when people start saying, hey, but you already admitted you don't know what the strain is, and then so when it doesn't work, you say the reason why it doesn't work is because y'all fighting the wrong strain. It morphed into a whole different strain. So first of all, the shot was originally supposed to prevent you from getting the flu. Now that we all know that you don't never know which strain it is, how do you convince everyone that it's to fight the flu. It's to fight the flu that you don't even know what it's composed of. So what are you making this shot out of? Since you don't know which. Anyway, there's that, and there's also the other defense is, so if even if you do get the flu, it won't last as long. So if you do get the flu and it lasts 3 weeks, then it would have, you want them to believe it would have lasted 2 months if you didn't have it, if you didn't get your flu shot. Brilliant. So if you have it and it lasts a week, it would have lasted 3 weeks if you didn't get that flu shot. There's absolutely no way to prove that. There's absolutely no way on earth to prove that. So they could be giving you the shot that's actually making you sick. And when you get sick from this flu shot, you can go around boasting. Oh, it would have been, I can't imagine how much worse it would have been if I didn't get my flu shot. And you have no idea that that shot is what gave you the flu. Or gave you whatever this condition is, because they calling it the flu. They don't know what the flu. But I would call it the flu too. My point is, I don't trust the flu shot. And I'm not even saying it's not a thing, because I could be wrong. But the thing is, I'm wise enough to know I could be wrong. And within that wisdom, I also know what we have seen with our own eyes, what the flu shot does to people. And the explanation for why it does that. Because we got the wrong strain. Then why do I need to get this flu shot? I'm just waiting for the time that they make it mandatory. And... And, bitch, we didn't just start having wintertime. We been had wintertime. We ain't never had no mandatory flu shot. We ain't never had no nationwide flu shot that everybody need to get. Especially young people and the elderly. Especially the most vulnerable motherfuckers on the planet. What have we been doing every winter? And ironically, more people dying than ever have of pneumonia and the flu. More people are dying of it than ever have in decades. Than they were in decades when we just had a general change in season that affected people. And they caught their colds and flus. And then pressed on and got ready for spring. Now, the flu is deadly. Because it's morphed into this. Yeah. So then we had the conversation about how, you remember the conversation that we had a couple of videos ago? that you and I had a few videos ago. Where I was telling y'all about how, I was thinking about how they took a bunch of professionals, you know, doctors and lawyers and stuff, and counselors and from Africa, and brought us over here and made us slaves. So now they refer to our professionals as things like witch doctors and voodoo queen, voodoo priestesses, and you know, all that stuff. But really, if you think about it, we had our own versions of those professions. You just call them those names after you made them slaves and you didn't want them to be respected for their profession. You called them things like voodoo priest and witch doctor and things like that. But you call yours counselor, physicians, colonizers I'm talking about. Yours are physicians and stuff. But check this out. If you compare the physicians, let's just look. And so I was telling my manicurist, you know, I was like, culturally, they took us who had already had that knowledge and experience and wisdom and information and just tacked a different name on it so that they wouldn't be respected as professionals, as the professionals that they were, and adjusted everything to their benefit. Like, again, like I said before, you go to the witch doctor of your tribe, the professional. You go to the witch doctor, they find out what's wrong with you, and they figure out which herbs to compile for your tonic to heal you. The American physician of their pharmaceutical department, before they even know what's wrong with you, they need to know what kind of insurance you have to decide if they're going to care about your life or not. And if they do care about your life, how fast or slow they're going to kill you. And if they do, depending on if they do or don't care about your life, it can be, you know, they can be told by your insurance, the quality of your insurance. They decide then, because they're going to kill you one way or another. They decide how fast or slow they'll kill you depending on your insurance. So this is before they even find out what's wrong with you. What's your insurance? What kind of insurance? Do you have insurance? First of all, because we don't want to talk about whatever's wrong with you if you don't have any at all. And if you do, let's see what kind you have, because that's going to determine you know, what the quality of treatment we choose to give you, if at all. Ew. In the famous words of your leader, of one of your leaders, American leaders. They want her to represent Black America so bad. Just because she had common sense enough to ask some valid political questions, they immediately start talking about her running for president. Did you notice that? Yeah, they stay working. So then he asked me, I can tell when somebody want to be conscious real bad, but that cognitive dissonance. So I did keep throwing it at him. I kept saying, you know, I let people believe what they want to believe, because really, even if people did become conscious of, you know, these things that are happening under the current regime, I mean, people could lose them, people could go crazy. That's too much. It's too much to realize, to suddenly and promptly realize that everything you've been taught is some bullshit. That's a lot for the human mind to take. A lot. So I get it. And I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad with people that stay in the sunken place. Hey. It's hard out there. This nappy head is not my friend, because when I get to that scalp and pull, this sinus headache is just like, girl, no. He asked me if I think they do testing. Basically, he was referring to social experiments. And so, as soon as I realized he was referring to social experiments, I was like, he kept asking me stuff that he knew the answer to. He just trying to wake up. He better not. He ain't ready. He more ready than most people, but he ain't nobody ready. Ain't nobody ready like an indigo is ready. Only indigos. Only indigos. You know when they say stay woke, I be saying get woke. But you know what? Don't get woke. Unless you're an indigo, don't get woke, because you ain't gonna be able to handle that. You ain't gonna be able to handle it. So he asked me about these testing or whatever, and I was like, absolutely. I was like, they doing it right now. I was like, you think Flint is the only one with poison water? And then I start mentioning some things that are happening right around here that I know he knows about, because that y'all have seen happen in the garden. Y'all seen it sounds like thunder. It feels like an earthquake. And I believe it. They're fracking. Fracking is probably just the physical excuse. And even fracking is bad, but even that's just the physical excuse. God knows what they're really doing underground. For all we know, they're building a city for colonizers or some gas chambers for colored people. Colonized colored folk. Because the rest of us going to be pulling some Harriet Tubman levels of shit on their ass. I don't know how we going to find each other, though, because we can't seem to come together on some real shit. Without that cognitive dissonance kicking in for most people. So he was telling me how in China, which is interesting, because normally my nail guys are Vietnamese, but anyway, but enough stereotyping for me. Yeah, so he said, you know, in China they have scores, you know, where a neighborhood has a score. And if you're in a certain neighborhood and you go to shop at a certain place, they know like where your area is. I'm gonna say zip code for America's sake. They know your zip code, your area. I mean, your score, and so they can't sell to you. They won't sell to you. Like, say we know Rodeo Drive, okay, right? So if you come in shopping on Rodeo Drive, but you from a certain zip code, a certain area, a certain neighborhood, they won't sell to you. And he said they do that kind of testing in China. And so I said, yeah. I was like, they do all kinds of they do blatant experiments on black bodies. You know what I mean? They had it set up to where even when they finally were forced to admit the Tuskegee experiment, people still don't mention it or talk about it, or they sweep it under the table, or I bet you nobody even paid a penalty for that shit. So it's okay to do just experiments on black bodies. Which reminds me of this woman I met when I was in school who wrote me. And it was after my English teacher took one of my poems and essays to this lady. And she was a survivor of the Holocaust. And I remember her name right now. And she had a twin. And her twin did not survive. But they actually did experiments on their bodies where they would switch their shit just to see if it worked in each other. They're not sick or anything. No organs are failing. They just say, let's get these two motherfuckers and see if they shit working each other in the name of science. You know, no name of no science. Y'all playing games. Anyway, they did stuff like that on black people all the time. They still do stuff like that on black people. It's just that it's not going to come out for decades. And then when it comes out in decades from now, that in 2018, while the presidency was orange, they were body snatching black people. Yes, they're going to be like, yes, we were body snatching black people. But it was only because they're going to have excuse. They're going to have excuse. And it's going to be swept up on the table. And nobody will ever pay consequences for destroying black lives or families, as has always been the case. Because in America, there's nothing wrong with destroying black lives. That's okay to do that to us. I was like, yeah, man, they're doing that now. They've been doing that. They've been doing that to black people that were on government assistance. Even though more white people were on government assistance than black people, it's the black people that they tested. It's the black people who couldn't have a man in the household if you're receiving government assistance. Because it was important. It was killing two birds with one stone. They could keep you under their control to need them, and they could keep the black family unit in disarray. He also asked me if I thought I was paranoid. He prefaced that question. He said, "Can I ask you something?" He had said this like 3 times already. And usually, when people start saying shit like that during one of my conversations with them, I could tell they're fighting with their own conditioning. Because they're listening to me and their common sense is working. And they really want to not believe what I'm saying. But I keep saying how stuff like, how when you think about it and people start realizing all this stuff, nobody's going to go back and say I was wrong. And they know that. That nobody's going to go back and say, all those people that were saying that the government was doing stuff, they were right all along. We owe them apology. Can you imagine how many people have been committed into mental institutions for telling the truth? And they drove them crazy for real. Because they got drugged. You know what I mean? They got tested. They got tested with medications, physical procedures, medical procedures, clinical procedures, unwarranted clinical procedures. They were silenced. Yeah. He said, "Do you think that you're paranoid?" He said, "Do you think that you're paranoid?" And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that he thought I was paranoid. But again, I say to you, he was really using he was free thinking while we were talking. So that showed me, the more we talked, it showed me that he was free to have this conversation with someone that he is likely unable to have. Because you can't have these conversations with people. So he was really, it was refreshing to him to be able to have this conversation with someone. He can't have it in his family, his friends. So you could tell he was getting it all out. He was getting it all out, getting it all in. And I was letting him, because I love it. I think it's amazing when people wake up. I think it's, it's generally unlikely that people do. So when I see it, it's, really pretty. It's beautiful. But I don't necessarily encourage it, because if you're not an introvert, it could be a lonely place, which would explain why he was so glad to be able to have the conversation with somebody. Even if we do nothing about it and nothing ever comes of it, just to know you're not the only one that sees all this bullshit. I'm going to see what the back looks like for my own self. Because I can't trust y'all to tell me if I fuck something up back there. Now, if I put on another color, in the meantime, yeah, this is what it looks like in the back. I like when I twist my hair up. Well, because sometimes I do a raggedy ass job, but at least I do it then, right? When I twist my hair up like this, I take my time and I get it so that the curls will come out defined. I feel like some of these wrinkles get pulled back, so I look like I look a handful of years ago. Not 10 years, but a handful of years ago. Because I'm surprised at how much I've aged in like 4 years. I look at some of my videos from 4 years ago and I was still half-ass cute. So I'm not going to take today for granted. I'm proud to have reached this age in this world as a black woman. So we all survivors. If you fucking up right now, even if you doing all the wrong things and making all the wrong decisions, if you ain't shit, but you breathing today and you functional, you didn't fuck it all up yet. That's the moral of the story. I gotta remind y'all that every now and then because I know how hard I am on you along the way. So yeah, me and Dude were talking about a lot of different stuff, and he said, "Do you think you're paranoid?" And I said, "Well, see, that's the kind of question you gotta answer like a politician, and this is why. The answer is actually why you have to answer it like a politician, and the reason why is because, sure, I'm paranoid, but the thing is, most people who are paranoid on some conspiracy theory type shit are justifiably paranoid because all the things they're paranoid about, almost all the things they're paranoid about are happening. So I think it crosses a line into, I would say, so ultimately I would say no, I'm not paranoid because I think paranoia crosses into a line of confinement where you're now not living your life because you're perpetually scared about who can see what's going on, who's poisoning what the government's plans are for us. Whereas there's another person who would be a theorist. So I think conspiracy theory there's a thick and thin line between conspiracy theorists and paranoia. Conspiracy theory and paranoia. So again, those things are happening. We just were always conditioned to think that, old people who knew better were just doing too much, or people were crazy and paranoid and thinking that aliens and the government is after them and all of that. But all that stuff that is happening, it's just that they're so scared of it, they can no longer live. You know what I mean? Like, and he was saying, yeah, because I was like, I know all this stuff is happening, and I know that people are stupid to it, ignorant to it, or whether they choose to be, or they're really just ignorant. And if they're really just ignorant, they got educated to be ignorant. It's in the schools. They start us early. Your parents are colonized. So as soon as you as soon as you pop out of your mama's womb into this world, the conditioning starts. So the theories are justified, but the paranoia will imprison you. And when you're in prison, you can't do anything. You're not free. And the difference with a conscious person is that we're aware of it. We're free, but we're free. Because we know there's nothing you can do about it. Paranoid people think that they can somehow prevent it. Yeah, that's the line. I take that back. They don't think they can prevent it, but they think there are things that they can do to prevent it. Whereas I realize there's nothing I can do to prevent it, but I can't minimize their access to me. I can maximize my freedom to do whatever, whilst being aware that I'm not necessarily free to do whatever. Because they'll send the goons. But people like me, I guess the tragedy in it all is that we realize our ultimate powerlessness in it all. And the paranoids' recognition of their powerlessness renders them into a state of mental instability. And that's how that works. So shout out to y'all paranoid people. Y'all ain't completely crazy. Y'all crazy though. Because y'all do too much. Y'all really do. But I get it. Shout out to you for trying to act on it. It's more than most people do. So he was telling me how he's telling me about his webcam. And so he says he always thinks somebody's, watching through the webcam or whatever. And I said, they probably are. I was like, if you turn it off, if you power it down, you got the audio. I was like, that's why there's certain things I won't have in my house. I'm not going to have Alex roaming around my house in my business. Because she ain't shit. Her and Siri both. They cousins. Okay? That's why I don't use Siri on my phone. I use her brother. But it's the same thing. I got a cover on my cam. On my computer, on my monitor. I cover it up. Does that mean that I think that they ain't gonna see or hear everything I do in my house? Even without Alex in every room. Sure they do. Sure they do. But you gotta keep living. Because if anything ever is done about it, it's not gonna be done by somebody who did cross over, who might have been aware, but who did cross over into paranoia and stop living. It's the people that move beyond their cognitive dissonance and paranoia who change history and take action. I take action because I'm slipping on my action, on my mass action. But I do my individual due diligence. I do my part. Like, say, just a conversation with dude. I think that was very eye-opening and awakening for him. Even though there's nothing either of us can do about it. And it's okay. And he needed someone to be able to talk about it too. And that person was me. Wait, this shit look good. What is that coated with? And something else I was telling him was how decades ago, most of you don't know because conveniently for the government, it's been swept under the rug with all the other bullshit. But if you didn't know, decades ago, Americans were sitting at home on their sofas, shaking their head at everybody in China, strung out, laying out on the streets. Everybody, more than half, most of the population, was on opium. Guess who has an opioid epidemic now? But stay asleep, though. Let me find out what this is lined with. I just saw something. I'm in the market for some new, from some new pans, pots and pans. One of my girls just posted. I need to know. This look like a bomb-ass cookware. And the reason why I'm in the market for new cookware is because I knew better a long time ago. Because I'd heard about it. I never heard details, but a conspiracy theory about Teflon, non-stick cookware made out of Teflon and the dangers of it. But I just watched the documentary, The Devil We Know. I've been watching quite a few documentaries in my old age. When you're watching documentaries, keep in mind the propaganda, though. Because they still have a mission. Even when they're revealing truth to you, there's a narrative. So, but anyway, I was watching The Devil You Know, and we're just all poisoned. That's all. So anyway, I'm looking at this pots and pans, and they're so beautiful. They have wooden handles, and it doesn't look like it has made out of Teflon, but it looks like it is non-stick. So I'm gonna check that out and see what that's made out of. I need to know, girl. Bitch, where did you get this? And is it within my financial means? Because I worry about her sometimes. I used to watch her on YouTube a lot. She doesn't do YouTube videos much anymore, but the reason why I kind of stopped following, well, I guess I still follow her if I follow her on other social media, but the reason why I stopped following her is because the choices she was making for herself. I knew it was going to be, it was going to not end well every single time. Because of the basis on which she builds her friendships will cause self-inflicted trauma. She can't even help it. But she a cool chick, though. And I don't think in her case, she's not even an empath like that. But she is a compassionate person, a very compassionate person. And as much as she knows about not trying to fix people, she'll be the one trying to fix people. And she'll re-crack her own broken self in the process every time. And I love for her. But I encourage her to choose her friends better. I'm going through her recent posts. I'm realizing how long it's been since I've been on her page. She is so cute. Her thick ass. You couldn't even tell that she was thick when she first started making videos. We're friends, though. They be bonding over bullshit. But that's how it works sometimes. I can't say I absolutely never bonded with somebody bonded with someone based on some bullshit. Common bullshit. But you can't do that. You can't always do that. Getting too old for that. It's gonna take a different kind of toll on you, boo-boo. I hope Betty White's feeling okay. I know that was random. You know you owe when you have spare glasses literally everywhere. In my defense, I was just doing my hair, right? Right. Looking to see how much y'all can see in my glasses. I'm telling you, good glasses be snitching on you.